asking.
Sure, sure.
Hi students, all of you guys. Welcome aboard to this interactive session. Um, I would not call this as a session. That would give it as a formal tone. I would call it as a storytelling video podcast. All right. So let me introduce myself. My name is Vinay Raj. I have close to 10 years of experience in advertising. I'm an entrepreneur. I started as a copywriter, then moved into completely business side. Worked with my 3 Stark, Ogilvy and Mather, DDB Mudra, like leading agencies in the world. I handle a lot of clients like ITC, Sonata, Prestige, Indeed, Ujjivan Bank, Allen Solly, Haywards, Foster's, Titan, etc. There's a long list. Um, all right. So, with your permission, let me just start this session. So if you guys want to be on video, you can do that because I want to hear from you in terms of gestures. So instead of talking something, probably if the session is going well, if you're understanding good points, if you feel some certain points are great enough, you can give me a thumbs up. If you feel it is bad, you didn't understand something, you can give me a thumbs down so that I can keep a tag on all those things and respond to you later accordingly. All right. And there might be a lot of questions which I know, which will keep towards the end of session. And I will also share my email ID with you so that you can write to me. All right, so saying that, let's start. So the agenda for this particular session was to take you guys through the world of advertising, the challenges and the opportunities. I don't think I can cover this entire thing in 30 minutes. It's like long, deep subject. So I would rather prefer to tell you how much fun and interesting this world is about. How much you can use your simple common sense, your judgment, your process-oriented thinking, which is all part of management. Advertising is the most area where we have a lot of fun after the entertainment industry, which is the place where we have the most fun, right? So saying this, I would like to go to the next slide. Simplicity is the utmost sophistication which we can always look for. So I'm going to keep this really simple, candid, and as casual as possible. And I apologize if I use any swearing language or any foul voice, right? I won't give you anything extra. I'll give you what is crucial. No extra information, no information overload also. Just simple, candid conversation so that you can make the most use of it. Cool? I hope I could see some video gestures so that it is kind of interactive without any noises. Students, can you turn on your video, just your video alone? I don't think nobody's turning their video on. Vinish, I'm audible, right?
Yep. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I would recommend a couple of students or any one of you guys to turn your video on and give me gestures like thumbs up, thumbs down so that it's interactive. I don't be like a radio where I'm the only one talking.
Students, please follow the instruction. This is even before we instructed, you should be opening the video during the session. Please follow the instruction.
Nobody's doing this. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, what is advertising? I know there are like a lot of answers popping up in your head, and I can assure you that all of them are true, period. But let me set the premise here with the quote. This quote is going to be really kind of offbeat quote, but it's really interesting. I honestly believe that advertising is the most fun you can have with your clothes on. It's said by Jerry Della Femina. He is one of the fathers of advertising. Advertising has a lot of fathers which will come to know in the following slides. All right. So whether it's true, this is absolutely true. If you want it to be true, trust me, I've been there with my clothes on. Right. So let's go to the formal definition. This is my definition which I created for this particular session. After going through various definitions, not following any academic principle, just something based on simple common sense. So advertising is art of persuading someone to take an action by talking about some product, service, or idea with good. There are like three C's. These three C's are the most crucial C's, which you will get to know later. But one of the most important thing is it is an art of persuading. It is not bombarding somebody with information. It is about giving them something valuable, what they want, and they are persuaded to take an action. So the first C is content, second C is context, and the third C is consumer. Each element is so important, you can call it as pillars. You would have come across multiple academic jargons. Believe me, this is so simple and useful to remember. Three C's: content, context, and consumer. And you will get a clear understanding how these three pillars play an important role in advertising and how we come up with a good product or communication. Communication basically meaning an ad or a print ad or whatever form of communication. All right. Human minds are so complex. Our head is like, full of jigsaw puzzles. We have a lot of thinking going on in parallel. We do unrational things. We do a lot of things based on impulse, right? So people are unreasonable. We don't know what makes sense. We do what we feel like. We keep on changing our actions in this world. Like there are a lot of things, lot of triggers, and we respond to the triggers, right? And loyalty is hard to get. Impulse is where everybody caches their mind on. If you see something, if you like it, you are impulsed to respond to that, and you respond to that, right? So loyalty, sticking to one particular brand, is not an option anymore. There are like a lot of options to go with multiple brands, right? So in this clutter of communication, in this clutter of brands, how can we talk to a consumer or a customer and sell our product or our service? Only by talking to them with something which they can feel. If they can feel with what we are talking to them, and only then they can act on that particular message. So we take a decision ultimately because of the emotion attached to a product, service, or communication. Loyalty or the impulse reaction, everything comes at the immediate emotion what we have to a product or messaging is what plays a crucial role in making a decision. So our thinking system has evolved a lot. We are conscious all the time. We want to own our process. With this context, I want to take you through the four funnels where we used to do our thinking. So earlier, when we have a product or service, and when we talk to a customer, there are like four stages. One is awareness. We create an awareness about the product. Then we create an interest about the product by talking something interesting about the product. We keep on bombarding them with information, and then we take them to the next stage. We create a desire for the product, right? And ultimately we get them to do an action. We get them to buy the product, we get them to subscribe to the product, we get them to do XYZ action we want them to do, right? These were the only four stages earlier. Right now the stages has multiplied a lot. So from the four stages, now we have this many stages. We have like a lot of intervention points. We create awareness of the product, and when somebody is interested in this product, they create an interest on the product. Then they consider, they add it to their, as simple layman terms, they add it to their cart. They consider with multiple options. Then they evaluate. They evaluate about multiple products, which one is good. Finally, they decide, right? They decide on one particular product, and then they take an action. They buy, they subscribe to the product. And if they like the product, then they repeat the purchase or the action. Once they repeat the action, if the product is kind of a mass product which they want day to day or monthly, then they repeat the purchase. They keep on repeating the purchase. And that's how we build loyalty. And once you have a loyal customer, what do? You tell your friends, you tell your relatives, you tell everyone. That's what called advocacy. So advocacy is something which was there before but was not given importance. So right now we have a lot of stages, like I listed here, to intervene with the customer, to talk to them accordingly. So as simple as on Google, If you like a product, if you purchase a product from Amazon, for example, and Amazon keep track on your things, on your behavior, instincts, etc., and they understand that, okay, if you buy, for example, a car polish, they know that you have a car, or you may or may not have a car, so they suggest multiple things, right? So that's how we can intervene with people with multiple things at multiple stages, right? So coming back to this point, coming back to this art of persuading point, this is one solid point which I want you to write it down or have a concrete understanding about. So when you talk to customer or the consumer with the right context through multiple content, then it's called creative communication. If you talk to the customer without any context, if you plain Jane talk to customer without any context, they may not consider your product. So you have to understand, study about the customer, understand where they are coming from, why they are looking for the product. So understand about the context and then talk to them. That's when it is called a creative communication. So the right people are called the customer or the consumer who we are targeting, right? And when you intervene these right people at the right place, it's called context. And if you talk to them with something interesting, it is called good content. So that's why these three are the main pillars of advertising. There are a lot of marketing jargons, advertising jargons you will see across your textbook, everything. But we as an advertising agency, we start from here. We start these three as the main points, and then we distill out everything from here. This covers everything, like everything. So when I say interesting, it can be a format in terms of a video. It can be a format in terms of probably a poster, a static GIF. It can be AR. It can be virtual reality, augmented reality. The format is not the final thing. The format is the last interaction, right? But the content, what is the creative idea we are trying to communicate with the customer, that decides everything. The format of how we are communicating, be it a video, or a JPEG, a static creative, etc., is the last mile that we can figure out. So advertising is so bastardized that there are a lot of fathers for this advertising. You will hear about this guy being father of advertising, that guy being father of advertising, because creativity is not belonging to one individual person, right? There are a lot of people who can claim creativity and they have proven their domain. So by saying this, I want to show you two quotes by two fathers of advertising talking about the same kid. David Ogilvy, he is one genius in advertising. So and he says, if it doesn't sell, it isn't creative. He's focusing on the creative side. Ultimately, people should consider your product because they find some interest in it. We can build interest only if we can be creative. And creativity doesn't mean that you have to be skilled with art, you have to be skilled with crafts. No. Creativity is as simple as, if you see all the communication, it is as simple as talking to the right people at the right place at the right time with a good information-based communication. That is called creativity. When all these things combine together, it's called creative. Else, it won't work. Creativity is nothing if it is not working, right? Another quote: creativity is the most powerful business force in the business. This is said by Bill Bernbach. He is one of the founding fathers or father of DDB. Now, stressing back on the same point, the 3 C's. Before that, I just want to hear once again from the students, am I going too fast or should I tweak anything? I would like to see a response. Anyone? I can see all of you guys are management students, and I think you should be responding to some questions, simple questions like this. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding what I'm saying? Everything is
Sir,
fine?
yes.
Sir.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Perfect. So, so these three things: content, context, and consumer. I want to stress a lot on these three things. Creativity is the last mile. Do not get, excuse me, do not get lost in this the word called creativity. Everybody is creative. Every single human beings are creative. Just that they had to understand the situation and understand the consumer and give them something valuable, useful for them, then that is called creativity. Not arts, not craft, nothing. That is just packing the creative stuff, packing the stuff. So that's when it's called, when we use the arts and crafting. But fundamentally, creative is about being present at the right place at the right time and talking to the right consumer. So I hope we all are on the same page, and you understood the vibe on advertising, and you understood where I'm coming from, what I'm trying to convey, and like everything is seamlessly placed in your head. The key takeaway right now is content, context, and consumer. Just keep only that in your mind, right? These are the fundamentals of advertising. Now moving on, how an advertising agency work. What is the format, what are the structures, what are the department, how we work, to use these fundamentals to talk to a consumer or a customer. That's what we are gonna do next, right? So anatomy of advertising. So like every system, there are advertising is also formed with multiple departments, like which you will come to know later. uh, Everything has to work together, and everything has its own importance. I am not going to talk about all the minute departments, but I'm going to talk about the crucial departments which we use. You can let that guy in and suggest you go on mute. Thank you. So yeah, so we have minute. I'm not going to talk about all the minute departments. I'm just going to talk about the crucial departments. All right. So um, the first one is called planning. I would say planning is the left brain. All right. Then it's called creative. Creative is the right brain. Then it's called media. Media can be the connecting link. And then comes management. Management is the neural network which ties all this department and make something sensible out of it. If each of them works individually, the final outcome, what comes out, it won't be sensible. It won't work in the market. It won't work in the face of customer. It won't convey the right message. Because the management department, the brand managing department, make sure everything is in the right place, and everything checks all the boxes. Everything has right point to communicate. So I am with the management department. The good thing about the management department is that we have to be good with planning. We have to be good with creative. We have to be good with media, and we have to be good with everything. It's like master of all trades. Once we accumulate all of them, we tie all of them together, and we move the system. We work like a gear train. All right. It's like lot of gears. If you see in the watches where we used to give keys, or this kind of tie back mechanism where we see a lot of gears working together and giving a final output, we will work like that. So moving on to the each department. So I talked about four major departments: planning, creative, media, and management. So moving on to each department. So when you are listening to the session, you can associate yourself with which department do you belong to, and you can hone your skills like that. You can very well work with all of the department, then you can come to the management side. Or if you are focused and if you feel that you are super sharp in one of the department, you can look at that department. I would want to also say time is precious in this pandemic world and this crucial times where the competition, where everything is fighting hard for everything. Time is very important. You do not waste time. You just make useful, things, and do maximum things possible in this time. So use this session. Do not take away everything. Just take away 5 or 6 simple points and try to implement it in your studies or academic, everything, everywhere possible. You will definitely reap benefits out of it. All right. So going to the first department, planning. Like I said, planning department is the left side of the brain. So they are the one who apply logic and reasoning for all the projects or all the work we have to do. So management, we are the single point of contact with the client or the brands. So what we do is we go to the brand or the client and ask them what is happening in the market, what is happening in your industry. So if the client is Maruti Suzuki, the industry is automobile, right? So we ask them what is happening in the industry, what is happening with your business, and they say, hey, we want to increase sales for my model Vitara Brezza. What can we do? They probably shoot the simple question like this or simple objective like this. So we what we do is we understand about the industry, because we are into advertising, we know how the industry is working. So we do some research about the industry and understand who are the competitors, who what are they doing to improve their sales, etc. But from planning point of view, what they do is they go deep into this. They talk to the client about what is the opportunity we have in this SUV segment. If I call Vitara Brezza as an SUV, what are the opportunities we have in SUV segment? Are the consumers evolved enough to adopt to SUV in Indian market? Are they evolved enough to spend this much money for this particular brand? So the planning department, they dwell into this particular question from the client or the brand. We want to increase the sales in SUV market or in sales for the Vitara Brezza. So the planning department dwells deeper. They ask a lot of questions in all point of view, the point of view of content, context, and consumer. They ask about the consumer, they ask about the industry, all the intervention points. They ask all lot of questions and they formulate certain understanding about this interaction, right? Am I audible? Suddenly there's a glitch.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So they completely dwell into this this problem definition, and they come up with a problem definition, which I will tell you what is a problem definition. All right. So planning is one. They are like the brain, like pure left side brain who dissects the opportunity or the business problem or the objective with logic and reasoning, right? So that is planning department. Now next is creative department. Creative department seamlessly convey the product benefit and get the consumer to believe it or the customer to believe it. So the planning department, they understand the market, they understand the industry, they understand everything, and they have a certain idea or a strategy to talk to these consumers. What creative does is they talk to the consumers about this strategy in a creative way. So that because people don't understand technical strategy terms, what they understand is creative, simple communication which they can relate. Only if they relate, they will buy the product, they will feel something for the product or something for the communication, and then they act. So that's why most of the communication in Indian market are emotional in nature. They are evolving, but most of them are like real time experiential. It's more realistic, and it's more what I say, it's not too much artificial. Here we have little bit of emotional content, you know uh, inserted into all the communication. So what creates, because our consumers Indian market is like that. So the creative team, what they do is they take the essence out of the planning department and they craft it creatively, and then they come up with a final communication. So that is what creative people do. Next is media. So we have a strategy, we have something unique to talk to the consumer from the strategy department. We have that same thing crafted in a nice way, in a creative way, done by the creative department. Now comes the media department. Media department knows, if I talk about this particular creative communication in this particular way, in this channel or in this platform, we will get the most number of consumer or audience to listen to it or attach to it. It is very crucial, because if we have this placed in the wrong place, it won't work. So it is very crucial for this creative piece to be placed in the right place so that they buy it. I can give a fantastic example. I hope most of you guys watch cricket, right? And I hope you have seen this, else it won't, you won't be able to understand. So once, if a batsman, if an Indian batsman or any batsman is out, and if the decision is not or is called to be out, and if the decision goes to the third umpire shows the out or not out that screen, right? We all will be looking at that screen. If it is Sachin Tendulkar, the Indian audience will be praying like anything, or be it any Indian batsman who we love to see bat. So everybody will be praying like anything so that he doesn't go out. And we can see a branding of Cycle Agarbatti over there. Cycle Agarbatti is all about prayers. The brand is positioned in that particular place. So when we look at the screen and when we see the brand, we relate subconsciously. We tend to get biased to that product. We tend to believe in that product, and we when we want to make a purchase, we obviously we the brand name which comes into our mind will be Cycle Agarbattis. So this particular thing is done by media department. Again, it doesn't have to be done by media department, but that role, that process of placing this thing at this place, we will buy the space to do a branding. It is done by media department. It can be done by anybody else as well. The process is called media buy. So probably if you are a creative person and if you are saying let's do something like this, you are basically doing the media buying. That process is really relevant over here. How we come up with the strategy, how we come up with the creative, and how we place it. And it is really important. All of these people work in tandem and come up with something, really useful for the consumer. Each of them, when they work individually, the final product won't be, seamlessly executable. That's when we management people come into picture. We are like neural network connecting the entire system and make sure everybody is working in tandem, and there is nothing frugal in nature. There is nothing coming as a waste. We make sure everybody is having the right inputs. We coordinate with them. That's why most of the MBA graduates or the MBA students tend to go to the management side, because we know what works where, and we are like the CEO. We are like the jack of all trades. We understand everything, and we make sure we deliver the right thing. So when I took the term CEO, a company CEO would not be master of finance, would not be master of ops, would not be master of multiple other platforms, but he understands everything. He knows that each department can function better on its own if I am overseeing it. He knows that everything has a certain process. He knows that it is about simple common sense whether I should invest here or not. How to invest, where to invest can be done by the finance department, but the crucial decision about, okay, let's place this product over here, let's do the advertising, let's spend 8 crores over here, let's spend 50 crores over here, etc., is done by the management department, because we tend to talk to all the departments, the market, the planning, the media, the PR, like a lot of department, and we accumulate all the knowledge and bring one solid problem definition and scope of work. And we tell them that, hey, this is what we have, this is what we can do, this is the potential we have to do. All right. So yeah, this is when everything works together and it looks like a gear tree. I hope you are on the same page. We will go to the main tool we use in advertising, which help us which is craft the communication. So it's called brief. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's called brief. So earlier I told you a brand or a client has a problem, and he tells us the problem. He or she tells us the problem, and we have to dissect the problem. It can be a problem, it can be an opportunity, it can be vertical scaling of the business, it can be anything. If there is a business, there is advertising, and if they are looking to get more market, talk to people with more, talk to people and gain more, market share, there is advertising. And more than ever before, advertising is booming like anything. Right now, like I told you before, people have a lot of things to buy. People have a lot of options to buy. There's like bombarding of everything from everywhere, and it is very hard to keep a customer loyal to certain products. So advertising is booming like anything. Which I will tell you later, like what are the real time, opportunities which you can explore in advertising. Like a piece of advice, I'll tell you towards the end of the session. All right. So let's talk about brief. So brief, I would call in layman terms, brief is like a tool which we use to crack a certain problem or crack a certain business opportunity. because there will be a lot of information coming from planning, from the media people, the client, creative is the last mile. So there'll be a lot of inputs coming from multiple departments, right? So brief is like a document. It's like a marriage document, if I say, where we talk about all the terms and conditions. We will do this, we will do that, this is what we're going to do, etc., etc., like a legalized document, which is agreed between all the parties, like client, planning, media, and we have this as a a tool to crack the problem or crack the objective. So I will take you through the each step of this brief. Um, you have to only keep probably four things in mind. The first thing is 3C. What all are the 3C? Second thing is use your common sense. It's very simple. There is nothing a very tight or hard about it. Use your common sense and use your judgment. All right. So let's go to the next slide, which is a crucial part of this session. If you crack this, if you learn this, if you understand this, then you have cracked this advertising. Probably put the first step into advertising. I hope you can see the page where we have a lot of sections, right? The anatomy and the different section. So the first point, headache. What is the problem? The client tells us that, hey, my problem is this. I want more business, or I want to get into this particular market, etc. Then we understand whom should we talk to to address this particular problem. Who this problem is for. We understand these people and we come up with an insight. Like to talk to them, what should we talk to them? Then comes strategy. How we plan to reach them. Like what is the shortest way to reach them with the maximum effectiveness. And then comes the concept, the creative idea. How we crack a creative idea from this insight. And how to reach them through what are mediums. And when we talk to them through each medium, what is a single thing your customer should take away? And the content, the packaging of the content. Should I be friendly? Should I be taking an advisory role? Should I be taking a colleague's role? So that brand archetype will come in picture. Then ecosystem, how everything will work together. How all of them can work together in tandem so that we have some good piece of communication to talk to the consumer or the customer and get them to subscribe to our product, right? So these all are the steps in which we crack a brief. After we do this, we make it again shorter so that it is easier for a layman to understand, or it is easier for anybody to understand. So like I said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So you shouldn't go with all this technical term when you want to talk to a layman. We have to talk to them in very simple way, in probably 3 simple lines, telling them that, hey, we have something good for you. How can we talk to them in 3 simple lines? So that's why we have this format called get to buy. Basically, getting the target consumer and their barrier. As in, if you are a target consumer and if you want to buy a product, or if you want to subscribe to something, you will have certain presumptions about the product. You will have certain barriers. So you talk to this consumer with this certain barriers, with something so that their desired mindset is achieved. Achieved by talking to them something substantial with a important message. So get target consumer and their barrier to decide mindset or behavior by talking about something the brand can communicate. So one simple example is, I'll share one link. Um, I hope you got the link.
Yes, Vinay, we have the link.
Can you all play the link? Right. Hope you have seen the ad, right? So
Yes, sir.
this is one ad which has one, or this is one thought. I won't even say ad. Ad is the final output. This has won numerous award because it has worked like anything with the target audience. Here, the target audience was. Can you say who was the target audience over here in this communication? Who can be the target audience? Just type,
Mothers,
or I can say
mothers, parents.
exactly. So the target audience was the mothers. So I still remember the brief, or still remember the problem. What the I was not part of the project per se, but I was part of the team. So uh, the problem, or the thing what the agency got was, mothers are tired of cleaning the clothes, the dirty clothes what the kids bring home. All right, they are like really tired of cleaning the clothes, which is a known fact, and probably a lot of people would have talked about it, a lot of brands would have talked about it, but Surf decided to take a different cut with the help of the agency. So the agency was talking to the kids, talking to the consumers, the mothers, everyone, to understand why do you get your clothes dirty. Um, so the answer was, we like to play, we like to do a lot of things, we like to run, we like to do a lot of things, like innumerable answer. But what is the insight from this, right? What is the insight from this particular action by the kids? The insight was that kids are kids only when they do things without any restriction. They would want to be kids by doing things they want, and they are doing all these things not to harm anybody. They are doing these things to self learn. They are doing something good. It can be helping somebody get up from dirt, it can be helping somebody climb a tree. That is the insight. The kids want to be kids. So we told the parents, do not let your kids not be a kid. Let them do what they want. Let them be kids. Only then they will learn. Only then they will do good things. Do not restrict them. So there's multiple cuts of same communication in different way. I'll give you an example. So that's how this first communication came up, and this ad was well received. Like I told you, Indian audience and Indian, particularly mothers, are very emotional, right, in nature, and they kind of relate to this subconsciously. And the key takeaway was that let your kids be kids. Let them do what they want. Only then they'll be kids, and only then they will do something good. Do not restrict their mindset, right? That was a key insight, and the communication was crafted in this particular emotional way, and it was a huge success. It won Cannes, it won Effie's, it won a lot of things. The same idea was taken abroad everywhere because this particular insight is common everywhere. Another ad, I will not share the link, but I will tell you what the ad was about. The same extension of this particular questioning, daag achhe hai, which means dirt is good. Why dirt is good? Because dirt will, if you let your kids go dirty, only then they will learn. If you help your kids to do something good, only will they learn. So another ad was har ko haro, which means defeat that defeats. Or yeah, har ko haro. If you can Google it later, you will understand. So in that, the idea is about, the ad talks about a coach who is fed up about training his students, and he finally gives up. Then one of the students asks him, like, why are you giving up? He's saying that I don't think we can ever win a match. And and this kid goes all havoc and creates ruckus over there, and the coach will be asking, what are you doing, why are you destroying the field, why are you destroying the premises, everything. Then he's like, I want you to change your mind, because if you quit today, you will quit forever. So do not quit. So a kid is telling his professor or his coach to do not quit. In this entire process of doing, which is creatively communicated, this kid is also getting dirty. And the final message is, if you want to achieve something good, which is do not give up, getting dirty is fine. So that is a key communication. Dirt is good. They have taken across multiple levels, multiple stages, and they have transcended it across all the medium. So that's why. So most of the mothers or the buyers or the consumers of surfacial product will have this in their subconscious mind. All right. Now, then when creativity is so simple and relatable, right? What happens? I'll share you another video link. This is again one of the major like award-winning creative work. I'm extremely sorry for this technical glitch, because always this happens. Yeah, but let's see what can be done the best. So see this link. I hope you would have seen this. If not, it's a really loss. These are like milestones in advertising. These are like case studies, and so just watch the link and let me know. I hope all of you guys are watching it. Perfect. So yeah, so this is one example. So Tam Kai Meng, he was the global creative officer, and he and Piyush Pandey was the one who crafted this particular communication. And they told simplicity and relatability are the most. If we can do some communication as simple as that, that's the best thing. And hope you will remember. I hope you remember all the Fevicol ads where the guy is fishing. Like all of Fevicol ads, which is so simple, just so embarked into your brain, and you won't forget, right? So yeah, so like I told you, this is, I wouldn't say this is creativity just by doing this craft of communication. They were creative because they understood the consumer. They were observing enough to take something from real life scenario and plug in the brand. So if they would have plugged some other brand over here, even though the video is so nice to watch, plugging any other brand won't work. So it's all about observing, placing the product at the right place, and that's when the creativity happens. That's when the magic happens, right? So let's move to a case study. I will share one link. I hope you would have seen this ad, but I hope you're seeing the ad.
हर एक स्वर्ग होता है, जैसे चाहे रहो जियो, लेकिन मेरे साथ ऐसा
Right,
नहीं था।
perfect. So I am going to ask some questions. You can shoot answers in single word, okay? This industry is about cement, right?
अगर मेरे को दुनिया भर में
I would want everybody to go on mute.
कोई अगर मेरी प्रॉब्लम बढ़ गई,
Mute, mute. Yeah. So I'm going to ask some questions. Use your common sense and simple. It's very simple. Just shoot answers in one word. So the industry is cement, right? What is the key message they are talking about? Like, what does cement stand for? One word.
Strength.
Perfect. Who answered that?
Michael Dave.
Perfect. Like a lot of people are saying, right? Cement stands for strength. Why do you think they have taken strength as the same example, strength as the same thing over here and talked about it again? What was the reason?
Real life situation.
Because no, maybe my question was not crafted properly. When everybody is talking about strength, why would Ambuja again talk about strength? Or why would they want to talk about strength?
So to mention, cement is, Ambuja cement is the strongest, strongest one.
I think you are close there.
I think
So
they try
basically,
to convey.
USP.
I'm sorry.
Yes, USP. I think that.
Yeah, it's USB. No, my question was when every industry is talking about strength, why would Ambuja want to talk about strength again?
It is more about the bonding.
Okay, I'll give up the answer. Maybe so. Basically, Ambuja knew. So based on the technology, their strength in bonding. It's a technical thing. It was better than any other player. But talking to the consumer about this technical thing, saying that hey, mine is the strongest one, by talking about technical aspects like bonding ratio, etc., would not make sense. So they thought they will talk about this thing in a creative way. So they decided to talk about this extra strength in a creative way. The creative idea was giant strength. So when everybody else is talking about strength, Ambuja wanted to take a notch higher and claim the space, because Ambuja was the leader in this strength space in the in the cement industry in their market, in the north market, etc. But a lot of entrants, a lot of people came in and they lost their position. Like a lot of people came into the same level. So Ambuja knew that my product is superior, but how can I place it on a higher note? Not by talking about their technical thing, by talking about an emotional thing, talking something creative. That's how the agency found the insight of giant strength. My product is better than anyone, which you won't match with. So Kali, right, like there are a lot of giants like him, but normal people or normal anybody won't match his strength, right? So that's how they creatively crafted this communication. And this ad has won numerous awards. It was the funniest award and it was so relatable and people wanted to watch it again and again. Subconsciously, they started having a bias for the product. They started believing in the product and they liked the product. So again here, using Kali to showcase giant strength was the strategy or the insight of the final take. crafting it nicely was the creative, the last mile, how we can use Kali, how we can use come up with a script, how we can show these kind of funny situations, etc., was the last mile. But that final turning point, that insight of the strategy was, how can I position my product one notch higher by doing what? So giant strength was the creative, insight, I would say. Understood? This is like one
Yes,
case
sir.
study. There are like multiple case study. I'm just trying to, with the session, I'm just trying to, just implant a small seed of advertising in your mind. If you guys are already having it, perfect. So one more case study. So this case study, this product you will be coming across every day if you are interacting online, offline, your phone, TV, everywhere. But this case study is really good, and the video itself is self-explanatory. Um, when you watch the video, I want you to understand what is the simple thought behind it, as in why they are doing it, what the context. So just analyze it in only this format. Do not get into academic jargon. No, just use your simple common sense and dissect it. Okay. So here is the link. I can see some people leaving the meeting. I hope the meeting is not so bad. I hope perfect. Watched it, right? So the video is self-explanatory. It has everything, right? So the problem was, I'll just tell you, like in 3 or 4 simple sentences. The problem was people know about mutual fund, but they don't know what actually mutual fund was. Like for laymen, like they didn't. They thought mutual fund was for someone. It's for someone who is having a lot of money to invest. Mutual fund is too complex to understand. Mutual fund cannot be trusted, right? So yeah, yeah. So the problem was defined like that. That was the problem. So the communication was crafted in such a way that everybody could relate, to tell them that mutual fund is for simple people. Mutual fund is for, low investment. Mutual fund is for, like for first jobbers, for everyone. So the content was crafted accordingly with the right insight, and talk to the right customer at the right points, through online medium, GIFs. It will be deployed in multiple platforms, but the format was GIF, interactive videos, blogs, etc. So that's what I was talking about. Everything is simple. Dissecting it and putting it into the multiple places where it is most effective is the last mile. But understanding the problem, defining the problem perfectly, then approaching it with solutions is like the best way possible, right? So I hope till here this would have helped you understand what advertising is about, what we do, how we tackle problems. So this. Oh, okay. Now it's a blue screen where somebody is pushing up. It's like a challenge roadblock. Can you see the slide?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
We are seeing the YouTube page.
Yeah, just YouTube page only. Just advertise that presentation. You can take it. That's it.
Okay, just a minute. How about now? What are you seeing?
No, yeah, it's coming up. Just a minute.
It's
Not that. I think. Yeah, it's a blue. Yeah, it's fine
right,
now.
right.
Maybe you can
So
enlarge it. Just.
is it fine now?
Even this is. No, it's not yet enlarged, but it's fine. We can see the slides. Don't worry.
Perfect. All right. So till now I was trying to make you understand what addressing is about, what we do, how we understand a problem, how we craft a communication. So these are like fundamentals. I hope it was simple enough for you to understand. Maybe you would have already known about all those things, but I just want to start off in a small note, or with a small step. Right now, I want to talk about the challenges. Like a lot of challenges are there in advertising. Like lot are there. I would want to call out certain challenges which are really important so that the advertising is really effective, right? So one of the challenges, like these are the list of challenges. First one is generating good quality leads. Earlier, when the advertising was outbound, when there was only TV, outdoor and radio, people, when we talk to them with this communication, people were not evolved enough to understand everything. They used to believe a lot of things, right? And we used to have a better conversion rate, honestly, with the kind of investment and with the kind of people we have right now. If the advertising is not focused, if it is not right and relevant for them, converting this customers to consumers, or converting the target audience to customers won't be happening. So generating quality leads is something we are facing a lot, because everybody has options to subscribe to anything, everything at any point of time. There is no loyalty. So that's why the fourth point, divorce rate of for a brand, people immediately switch to another brand. They probably buy multiple brands. So that's one big challenge every brand is facing. That's why they have to be specific. They have to talk about like really what is important with a good messaging, which is valuable enough for them, which is utility enough for them, which is functional and emotionally beneficial for them. Second is overwhelming data. Right now, everybody are on their phone, on their computer, on internet, and there's a lot of data, and people are evolving. Their minds are evolving. A lot of likes, dislikes, in terms of liking for a product, liking for a brand. Everything is happening, and a lot of data is there. It's very hard for us advertising agencies to process this data because we need a larger skill set and larger technology, which is also growing. But it's like a challenge, and when I say challenge, every challenge is an opportunity, right? Each challenge is an opportunity. So overwhelming data, trying to handle this data will require a lot of technology, a lot of skill set. So this data is one big thing we are trying to, handle and struggle, right? Then, third one is omni-channel absence. So earlier, like I said, the mediums where we have to be present was three: radio, TV, and outdoor. Like probably 30 years back. Right now, multiple mediums are there. Told you about the multiple intervention points like awareness, interest, concentration, desire, etc., etc. Every stage has mediums relevant for it. If you target somebody on LinkedIn, you can retarget them on Facebook. If you target somebody on Instagram, you can target them on Pinterest. So omni-channel absence is what we are facing, because to be present on every medium, the brand will need to spend that much amount. So the brands are not willing for that. What they do is they probably select certain mediums and they only stick to it. Only the big giants, they spend on all mediums. But we always recommend them to be present on every medium because people are present everywhere. Right now, the average touch point for a consumer every day to intervene with them is 6 to 10. Earlier, it was only like 2 to 3. Right now, it's more than that. You can talk to them in multiple points in a daily life, in a daily day. Right? Divorce rate, I talked about it. Quick micro content. So when something is happening, as in something relevant is happening in the market, if a brand is associated with that happening in terms of industry or category, etc., the brand can respond to it. You can see real-time, tweet exchange between Swiggy and Dunzo or Domino's and McDonald's, right? So they are like real-time interaction. So the agency and the brand should be ready to, come up with quick micro content right then and there. One of the main example which I'm going to tell, you can Google it later. So Super Bowl is like really, it's like IPL or India versus Pakistan match of, US, like, abroad market. So during Super Bowl, everybody will be right there watching without missing anything. So during the Super Bowl, there was a power cut, like, blackout over there. And right then and there, Oreo came up with this campaign called Dunk in the Dark, right? With its a real-time micro content. It's called Dunk in the Dark, which won a lot of awards. So after the session, Google and read about it. It's about thinking quickly, swiftly, and placing something at the right time to the right audience, right? So these are the challenges which I want to call out, and these are like, opportunities again. In this management life, when you are working or if you have get into a job in advertising, each challenge, trust me, is an opportunity. When I stepped into advertising, every challenge probably I would have thought as a challenge, but later when I changed my mindset and started thinking about opportunity, it was fantastic. One challenge which I faced was with Jeevan Bank, where the customers are like really poor people, like the lower section of the, in terms of SEC 8, like this SEC DE. They were too afraid of the bank and they didn't understand the bank products. So what we did was that we invented a game for them, and we started selling, distributing the games to all these people for like 3-4 months. And we want them to play this game where the game has all the products for us. So the game is like, you have to build a house, you have to take loan from this bank. You have to run a business, you have to take loan from this particular bank. So the game was formulated in such a way that they understood the products, and the ice breaking session was done right then and there, and they started subscribing to the product. So again, it's all about thinking smartly and coming up with simple solutions that fit the context, right? Now, moving on to the opportunity. Again, like I said, all the challenges are opportunity, but this is what I'm going to stress in this 2020 or this current era. I recommend and I suggest every one of you to seriously put your time understanding the world of artificial intelligence. It is simply how we can use technology to handle customer data. That is what artificial intelligence is all about. Context is advertising, okay, not probably manufacturing, etc. In our context, the domain we are talking about, AI is about how we can use technology to handle data and customers. So under AI, I want you to really focus on inbound digital marketing. So again, inbound digital marketing is crafting content tailored for everybody. It's like crafting content tailored for everybody. So if you can see, if you subscribe to a certain product of from a brand, what they do is they will start sending you personalized email with your name and with your likes and dislikes mentioned in it. For example, hey Dave, this is what you like, and we know that you are also interested in traveling and you are also interested in this thing. Hence, we would recommend you this product. So what the brand does is they use artificial intelligence. Obviously, Google is tracking every movement of ours, right? They use artificial intelligence and they track all our behaviors, our likes, dislikes, and they propose products for us. So that's how this inbound digital marketing happens. So we have to like really focus on how inbound digital marketing is a world. It's a really big topic. It's a like vast topic. I would have to do a different session for this. So the good thing about inbound digital marketing is that we are talking about something what they want. The conversion rate is lesser, the CPC is lesser, you know, the loyalty is increased because they are getting crafted communication for them, and yeah, what not. Second is marketing automation. A place where there is huge demand for management people who have smart thinking. So here what you do is you get a lot of automation tools, and you talk to the consumers or the customers using this automated tool, so that you don't have to handpick the call, do a handpick call to each one of them. As simple as if you log into certain website, you can see chatbots coming up, right, asking your name, hey Dave, what do you want? When you click on this, suddenly there is another solutions coming up. So it's the first simple example. So chatbots is one thing. So what you have to do is you have to understand the consumer, you have to understand the product, and come up with series of mind maps where what will they ask, what are their consumer queries. You have to list down all these things. For that, you have to do a lot of study and do automation for the brand, so that you don't have to employ a skill set to take care of it. Everything will be done by the artificial intelligence. It's all coming under artificial intelligence, all right. Third one is, if any of you guys have any inclination on the creative side, I would say you should invest your time in learning some of interactive experience, not the technical side, but implementation and coordinating and implementation side of AR, augmented reality and virtual reality. Earlier, right, we have buying a chain from a jewelry. You had to go to the jewelry, you had to wear it and see it, etc. Now, before going to the jewelry, you can use this augmented reality app and click on whatever jewelry you want to wear. You can just click on that, and on the phone screen, you can see you wearing the jewelry. Like the simplest example what I can tell you, this technology was there probably one or 2 years back. But now, because of the pandemic, a lot of brands are adapting to it. Recently, which I want you guys to Google it, OnePlus brand, right? They want to launch the 8th edition of their phone, OnePlus 8, and the entire launch was procrastinated because of the pandemic. What they did was that they did an AR-based filter. You should Google this later. So what they did was that everybody who has an Instagram page, they can go to the OnePlus, their particular page and click on this particular filter. If you click on this particular filter, you can see the OnePlus 8 phone box, unboxing it wherever you are focusing it. So if you have a dining table, and if you click on this filter and if you focus on the dining table, you can see the box is coming and placing on the dining table, and it is dismantling, as in unboxing it, and each elements are placed differently. So they simply adopted to this AR technology, and the product was demonstrated live to anybody who wants. So you can do this unboxing on your dining table, on your bed, inside your car, any platform, any place. You just need to focus it and click on the filter. Technology is simply used and rightly communicated at the right time, right? So yeah, so these are the opportunities which I want. Like there are a lot of opportunities, more opportunities, but I would want you guys to invest time, do some research. Probably I can do a different session if you guys are interested, if you guys like the session later. But these are all the key points which I want to talk about now. Summarizing this entire presentation, what are the key takeaways? One is this this funnel. You have to remember this funnel all the time. Do not forget this funnel. This is where we have to rightly involve with the consumers. Next is consumer context and content. Never forget it. If you rightly place, think properly based on this three filters, you will have the best creative communication. And the last thing, more than everything, always keep things simple. Stick to the process. Process will take care of everything. You can get back and understand where we went wrong and apply judgment and common sense. This is what advertising is about. After this comes the 3 C's. So I would like to conclude with 2 more slides. In this time, I know that you guys are having a lot of time at home. So it's a recommendation, it's a suggestion. Do upskill yourself. Do a lot of research. Best time to find best jobs or upskilling yourself, trust me. Else you will go obsolete. Like you will be going completely obsolete. Nobody will want to take you because competence is something what people or brands are looking at. So upskill in this time, else you will go obsolete. All right. There are some courses which you can do it for free, like Google free courses, HubSpot free courses, Facebook blueprint, Instagram marketing. Everything will give you an understanding about marketing, advertising world, and free certification from these companies are like invaluable. Like seriously. Now let's move to questions. I can like probably find some time to respond to some questions because I think I took some extra time. So I would want to hear from you. I would want everybody who want to ask question or anybody who want to ask question, come on video and ask me the questions so that I'll try to answer my best or I'll write back to you. But I can have some discussion. One major thing what I also saw during my times in my college is that nobody will be coming up and asking questions. Everybody want to tell you there is no right or wrong. If you have the guts to do this right now, you will do it anytime ever. So do not fear to ask questions. Do not fear to come forward and talk out. There is nothing called right or wrong. Trust me, you guys are like good in every field. So just come forward and ask questions. I have like 79 people over here, and the probability ratio of getting a question is like 79 factorial.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
Sir, how do you manage to convey the product quality through the advertisement? Like, how do you know that this much of boosting is enough for this product?
How do you know that this much of
boosting? This much of boosting is enough for that particular product. Won't there be a problem of over boosting or anything like that?
Good question. So the planning department, what I talked about, right? So they are into coming up with the core idea for the product or the strategy for the product. They are also responsible for measuring the effectiveness. So once we have a communication and when we start airing the communication, we also go to the market and start measuring the effectiveness. So if the communication is done through ATL mediums, above the line mediums like TV, radio, etc., obviously we have to go to the market and talk to the people. But if it's done through digital mediums, the effectiveness is measured by key performance indicators like how many people bought the product, right? So the sales would have gone from X to 50X. So we will have a touch point. So digital, the good thing is that once we reach the 50X, which is our objective, we can stop airing the product. We can just stop it right away, right? So digital is more measurable, more easy to locate and track. So like you said, once we know that we reached certain limit or certain objective or certain target of sales, we can right then and there stop the product, the airing of the advertisement. So that's why most of the companies are shifting from ATL to this digital. ATL is TV, radio, etc. But right now, digital, everything is measurable. We know how many people, went to the cart, bought the product, or went subscribed to the product. Everything is measurable. So what you said can be easily achieved through measuring from there.
Okay, sir.
More questions?
Hello,
Come on,
sir.
guys.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how strong do those advertisements that claim COVID-19 prevention in convincing their customers? Will that create any misbelief in the minds of loyal customers?
Yeah. So Indian audience, right? We most of them, the majority are middle class, and that is point one. I would want to make point two. If you communicate something again and again, people tend to believe it, even if it's a lie. Advertising is somewhat about glorifying, not a lie, a small fact into a bigger fact. So I can see a lot of ads talking about, for example, the Lifebuoy ads. They're saying, hey, if you use this, there won't be, germs on your hand. What they're saying is right, but by what they're also saying towards the end is that if you use other products also, it will help you clean the germs. They're keeping it towards the end. So by doing this, they are not breaking any loyalty. They are just trying to play their ads and communicate what is beneficial for Lifebuoy or what is beneficial for Savlon. So now that is about talking something about a real life scenario right now, a scenario to the customers. Second thing, it is really effective because the ads are playing right now. If you see the TV ad index, the advertisement placement happening on TV has increased because a lot of people are at home and they are watching this, and definitely people know that people will subscribe to this and they will subconsciously develop a bias for the product. A classic example is, to answer your question with a different example, when a lot of companies, if you're aware of, like Fair and Lovely and other brands, they want to take off the term fair from their product name. So they want to change the product name Fair and Lovely to Glow and Lovely, something like that, because fairness is being racist, right? You can glow even if you are light tone, dark tone, and any tone. So they want to rename their product. But the brand called White Tone, which is a product of Winnie, they knew that when this Fair and Lovely is talking to probably a evolved set of audience, it also has a mass audience as well. This Winnie, the White Tone product, knew that there are other set of audience who are blindly believing in these kind of products, right? When they are only talking about products, right? So what they're saying is, you use White Tone, the product name itself is called White Tone. You get a white tone, and they're saying if you apply the product, you will be fair enough. So they knew that there is certain market for this communication, because the mass audience in India, they tend to believe. I would want to be a little more specific. The people don't compare the audience with the Kerala audience. Okay, we are a little more evolved, but there are like a lot of audience which are not evolved in the northern part of India, like a lot of sides of India, where they are talking to these kind of people with the same sort of messaging, like racist messaging, because there is scope for it. And yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
What are the new challenges faced by the industry, and how do you tackle it?
I mean, I covered this topic, right? There's one entire slide about challenges faced by the industry.
The
One
new
is
challenges
again,
because of the pandemic.
honestly, the real-time challenges are one. We know that people have more time to spend with the interactive mediums like digital, like through phone or TV, etc. People definitely have more time. One real-time challenge is for us to come together and craft a communication for them. Earlier, we could do a shoot, we could do a photo shoot, we could do a film, etc. But right now, within this system, we are finding it really hard, to do something interesting in there, because sitting here, everybody working from home and crafting a communication is really hard. Right now, coming together is also really hard because more than 10 people coming together for these kind of things is prohibited. So this is one major challenge as a management guy I am facing right now. Apart from that, the scope of if we are fortunate enough to come up with something interesting enough, it is definitely good market for people to see it, because people are spending more time on their devices and TV, etc. So we just want to make a good product, but with this limited conditions, it is very hard.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So in social media advertising, what happens if the product doesn't meet the expectations from the advertisement? There will be lot of customers who won't buy the company's next product due to this. How
Yeah.
do you bounce back from this, sir?
Yeah. So advertising, there is a quote like, if your product is bad, if you do see, advertising is like it's like a mantra. It's like a boost for your product. So if your product is good, the advertising will make sure it is bought by everyone every time. But if it is bad, how much advertising we do, the consumers will make sure that they will know about the product through the advertising, but they will never buy the product. So first of all, the fundamental thing is that we have to have a good product. Social media, I would say, social media is like a parallel world for word of mouth, right? Word of mouth is the best medium we can explore, where people talk about our product, good things about our product, and spread accordingly. So social media is like a digital word of mouth world. Everything happens real. People use a product, they give reviews about the product, and then they make their own content, like good content, bad content, and they spread it across social media. So we will have a social listening tool. We will have a social listening set of people who continuously listen to all this conversation happening on social media. We will have certain keyword research. So we will type Swiggy hashtag problems hashtag. If we type that as a social media listener, I'll get to see all the conversation happening on Swiggy. If I type hashtag Daimler, hashtag problems, hashtag opportunities, hashtag conversations, we can see a lot of conversation happening. So we will always keep a track on all these kind of things, and we respond real time. And we, first of all, we make sure that the product is really good enough, so that fundamentally we are right.
Sir,
Yeah.
so if while advertising without bringing any emotional aspect to the advertisement, will the advertisement be able to create an impact in the consumer's mind?
Let me reframe your question. Are you asking emotional advertising, is it the best way to create impact?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
without yeah. See,
I'm sorry, please continue. Without?
like without bringing the emotional aspect in the advertisement, will it be successful to create a brand image in the minds of consumers?
Definitely. Like if when I let me just dissect the question. When you say emotion, don't think that emotions are like happiness, sadness. No, there are like much more than that. When you convey the truth about the product, you are developing an emotion called trust, right? So that's what I'm talking about. When you convey certain benefits about the product, you tap into a certain emotion of the people. So if you tap into that emotion of the people, only then they will take an action. So if the messaging is not good enough, we won't be able to tap into any emotion. So Apple's advertising, they are tapping into the creativity and simplicity part of every person who want to do something amazing. So they are tapping always into that emotion, and these people know that if I have Apple, I can create something substantial. I can create something really great. So that is emotion Apple is tapping into. So without emotion, nothing will happen. As simple as the government advertising, some of them you can see it is very plain Jane. It is not tapping into the emotion, because they are not crafting the communication in the right way, and they are not tapping the right emotion. So for that, tapping into the right emotion, we have to do a certain storytelling, so that people understand and subconsciously the emotions is being tapped. So make sure every time the communication is crafted so that it is emotionally tapping.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Introduce yourself. Just say, hi, my name is this thing.
sir, sir, I'm Tito. Sir, in marketing or in advertising field, if we need any professional look, if companies are looking at an employee with no beard, or the head should be like this, if this type of concerns are right now, or what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. When you step into this professional world, I would suggest you to be in a professional look and that kind of image. Is to be on the safer side because we don't know what they want, but we know that this is not offensive enough or demeaning them, or it's a industry code. After you place yourself and establish your skill set, establish your work, and after that, anything is fine, provided the company has certain code and norms. If the company is having a certain code where they want the employees to have a certain look and feel, obviously we have to adhere to that. But in advertising, nothing like that. It's all about your work. It's all about how you sell your work. It's all about how communicate your work. It's all about how effective you are. But again, do not go with this
Sir.
kind of approach in the first stage. First, in probably 1 or 2 years, set the foundation. Be humble. Have the humility. I can take questions for 5 more minutes. If you guys are,
Yeah,
up for anything, just we can wind up. But I can take questions for 5 more minutes.
Good morning, sir.
yeah, Vinay, just a minute, sorry. I
Yeah.
think for A batch students, there is finance specialization
Hello,
students,
sir.
they
Good
have the
morning.
classes. So maybe they can leave the session. Maybe
Sure, sure,
I
sure,
think
sure.
it's
No problem.
not much number, maybe 10 or 15 number. So the
Yeah,
students, those who have the session, A batch students, those who have the session right now, you can leave the session and join the finance classroom.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Somebody was asking me something.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm Aparna.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, sir. Sir, how internet is magnifying the branding or the marketing strategies?
Um. Right now, internet is a broad word. I would say digital marketing and digital advertising is doing everything for the brand. Every brand was planning to turn to digital side in probably 5 years. Now everybody is preponing that particular strategy and doing it now. It is unmeasurable. Like, it is amplifying every brand to talk to the consumers real time, which is measurable, and doing quality communication. And it is I don't have a specific answer for that. It's like unimaginable. It is amplifying the brands and talking to the consumers in every way possible, right? With this invent of technologies, with this artificial intelligence, with this like free data for us, with this 5G coming up, with this new phones everywhere, people are spending more time on their phone and second on their laptop and more than the screen, like TV screen, right? Even everybody, even the like every class, like working class of people to the top CEOs, everybody are on their phone, are on their laptop. So internet is everything. Internet is everything right now, and that is a new world. So if you guys are looking to get into any advertising agency, never get into any traditional agency. Get into digital agencies, okay? Because traditional agencies, you will be learning the fundamentals, but again shifting to the digital side may be a problem. So get into digital agencies.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
My name is Alfina. Um, sir, what's your opinion about the digital marketing versus the offline marketing in the current scenario?
30 years back or 50 years back, probably 70 years back, there was only one form of advertising, which is uh, outdoor advertising. Then came radio, then came TV. Now all of these are getting sidelined. Now it's all about digital advertising. Everywhere people are shifting their budget from 5% to 85% on digital advertising. But having said that, no brands are trying to completely ignore the traditional advertising. Probably ATL, as in the TV communication, will be discarded probably in the future, in coming few years, because we can't measure the impact and we don't know whether people are watching it. But on digital, it's about on demand. Like, if you are interested only, then you will see it, because we can customize like that. On TV, it's like carpet bombing. We don't know who is watching. We're just putting it out there, and there's a lot of spillover. So everything is moving to digital, And like the last point I want to make, the brands won't be completely moving away from outdoors, etc. Because after digital, we will be present outside, probably hanging out or exploring places. So after digital, experiential marketing, as in real time interaction, guerrilla kind of marketing is where we have the most demand. TV substantially reducing in evolved markets. Again, rural areas everywhere, people are still relying on TV, but that also will change eventually. So I think I would want to conclude the session. I have given my shared my email ID. I hope you can see this, right? Is it visible, the email ID?
Sure.
Better you text the chat box also, sir. Better.
Yeah. So I would want all of you guys to consolidate all your questions and send me only 25 questions. All right. If you have that many questions, send me only 25 questions in one Word document. Categorize it and send me 25 different questions, maximum 25 different questions, and I will respond to that.
Yes, Vinay, thank you very much. We will consolidate the questions and we'll send it across to you. I believe I'm audible to you also.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. And Vinay, it was a wonderful session. It adds a lot of value and insights to those students who are into marketing right now from an advertisement perspective. I believe I want you one more time because you have planted the seed for understanding on AR and all the visual reality models and artificial intelligence. I think I would like to have some insight on that for my students. So most probably I'll be requesting one more time of your busy schedule. I believe it is okay
Yes,
for
sir.
you.
Happy to always help.
Okay. And thank you very much on part of Berkman's Institute of Management Studies and spending your valuable time with us. Thank you very much on behalf of students also. Thank you very much, Vinay.
Thank you so much, sir. All the best, guys. So make use of time. Don't be obsolete. All right. Upskill. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.